Welcome to the Committee on Parks and Culture. This is our opening session for the 2026-2028 session. Welcome committee members, both here and on video. Welcome members of the public. Getting some quick housekeeping rules of taking care of. One of the first things that we do on the committee is I'm going to look for my committee members to pick up assignments. We are going to continue our bakery tradition. I've brought in today bakery from Scardino's. It's in a bakery in my district. We have both donuts and cookies to have. For committee members who are not here, you are missing out. These are special treats for you guys. In fact, committee members can have both donuts and cookies if you come in person. If you're not in person, you can't get them. But I might save them if you want to come in this afternoon. And for general members of the public and staff, we have cookies too. But if later on, I'm going to have Jenny, my legislative aide, circulate basically a calendar. Who will have dates and who wants to bring in treats next time. So that will be circulated today. The other thing is we're going to start with our first item on the agenda, but at the same time, Supervisor Vincent is going to be joining us, and we're going to stop whatever item we're at to take Supervisor Vincent up, and we're going to take up item number 2, the Trimborn Farm, out of order, and then whatever item we started, we will then go back to finish that. But as just a courtesy to Supervisor Vincent, because of her schedule, we're going to take her up in a special out-of-order basis. With that in mind, we talked about food, we talked about the calendar. Oh, calendar members, for the calendar, we have the parks schedule for the rest of this year. Other committees might have more of their schedule done, but we're going to work on 2027, 2028 later. That will be coming out later in the year. So with that, any quick questions in terms of organization or business? The other thing I want to point out is there has been a change. The committee members are exactly the same. There's no difference from the 2024 to 2026 session except for one major difference. Supervisor Taylor is no longer vice chair, and we're very honored to have Supervisor O'Connor is now the new vice chair. We're also very fortunate that Supervisor Taylor, who used to be on my left side, is now on my right side, but he's also chair of the Finance Committee. So he's going to, both members of both Taylor and O'Connor are going to be hearing things for finance too. So I think it really puts our committee even in a higher state than it is already. So with that in mind, if we can take up the first order of business, we're also very honored to also have, and I'm very happy to have Kelsey and our wonderful search Sandy here too. So both representing and helping our committee. So with that in mind, let's start with item number 1, if you'd like to call into session. Ms. Evans.
Mr. Chair, can I call the roll?
Oh, roll call.
Supervisor O'Connor?
Present.
Taylor?
Here.
Martin?
Excused.
Cox Jones?
Excused?
Here.
Oh, good. There she is.
No.
I see you. Sorry. Supervisor Cox
Can
Jones.
you hear me?
We can
Yes.
hear you, Supervisor.
Yes. A little weak.
Martinez?
Here.
Ekblad?
Here.
Mr. Chairman,
Here.
there are 6 members present, 4 appearing virtually. We have a quorum.
All right, perfect. If you'd like the next to call the first item on business.
Item 1, a request to approve funding structure for CAMPAC allocations beginning in 2026.
If you'd like to introduce yourself and state your title.
Yes, good morning. I'm Celia Benton, Director of Economic Development and Real Estate Services. Here today, I am representing members of the Cultural, Artistic, and Musical Programming Advisory Council, or CAMPAC, as you will hear me say, and their request for authorization from this board to approve their new recommended funding structure for CAMPAC allocations beginning this year. This is based on the resolution stemming from file 25-552, in which this board has requested an updated distribution model for CAMPAC funds. CAMPAC members have since met and voted unanimously in support of the new funding structure under discussion today. They desire a tiered funding structure that distinguishes funding between larger, more established, or cornerstone organizations and smaller, sometimes developing ones. So cornerstone organizations would include the Milwaukee Repertory Theater, Milwaukee Ballet, First Stage, Marcus Center for Performing Arts, and the Symphony Orchestra. In this tiered structure, they would each receive $20,000 grants. And then among the remaining organizations, grants would be allocated into a tier. Tier 1 would be for new and emerging cultural or performing arts organizations in existence for less than 5 years and with a budget of less than $50,000. Tier 2 grants would be the baseline level for established and qualified organizations not receiving Tier 1 or Cornerstone. And then Tier 3 would be available as additional support for Tier 2 organizations based on a defined impact. All of these grants would support general operations. In addition, CAMPAC members desire that the defined impact be related to social cohesion. Social cohesion is founded on the strength of social relationships, characterized by the presence of trust and participation among individuals within a society. It also describes a sense of belonging and connection felt by individuals in a society. This definition comes from the 100 Resilient Cities Social Cohesion Handbook. I'll note that CAMPAC has not yet finalized the social cohesion metrics to be incorporated into the final application. And I will also note that we have the chairwoman of CAMPAC, Katarina Wren, also here available, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Members of the committee, any questions at this time? Supervisor Ekblad, your hand is up. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the report. I appreciate the CAMPAC committee coming back to us with a recommendation. I guess my concern is that so-called cornerstone organizations are going to receive then a greater share of these funds. And while I certainly don't object to funding arts programs in any capacity, my understanding from my constituents is that the impact of CAMPAC has, especially for operational costs, has been especially profound to smaller organizations. And so taking money from one side of the spectrum and weighting it towards the other can be really problematic to the wide ecosystem that creates the social cohesion that was mentioned. Is my concern valid, or are the cornerstone folks going to be receiving basically the same amount of money? Because it does seem like they're receiving more money than they would have in the past, draining money from smaller organizations where especially monies of this size for operational costs can have a significant impact. I mean, $20,000 to the rep, once again, great place for the money to go, but if it's draining $5,000 away from a local theater, a hyper-local theater company that's smaller, that to me is objectionable. Is that concern valid, or am I misunderstanding?
Supervisor Ekblad raises several concerns. I'll give you a little bit more background, too. After our committee and actually the board made its decision on CAMPAC with the last budget funding, I worked with CAMPAC. I worked with the different players involved behind the scene, and I had a very good conversation with the chair of CAMPAC, who's with us today, Ms. Wren, and I'd like to have her address that. First of all, I'd like to introduce yourself, Ms. Wren, as a chair of CAMPAC, and if you'd like to answer that question of Supervisor Ekblad at this time. And welcome.
Thank you for that, Chairperson. Yes, I am Katarina Wren and the current chair of CAMPAC. And I hear you. I have similar concerns in that I want to make sure that everybody has a chance, and we realize that we weren't going to be able to make everyone happy. And in the past, those cornerstone organizations actually received a lot more. And I was part of the group a few years ago that felt that we should be spreading that out more equitably so that the smaller groups were getting a chance to even sit at the table. But then in recent years, it has been more clear that giving everybody the same amount doesn't allow for more to happen, because we also want to be able to leverage what groups can do, especially if they are collaborating and if they're reaching a larger amount of people. That matters as well. So we want to be able to give those smaller organizations a chance, and at the same time, use the money in the most strategic way possible. In an ideal world, we would have more money and be able to give even more money to these arts groups that we feel are very important to the vitality of our city. But we're trying to be strategic with the money that we have so that more of the good work can happen. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it sounds like an acknowledgement that you're trying to keep the smaller organizations at the table. They're getting less money. So are the cornerstones. And that there were basically two approaches. And I do remember this meeting very vividly. The $6,000 to every organization, correct, is what it was. And now it is being weighted. Thank you very much for explaining. I believe it validates my concerns, and I understand where the committee is coming from. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, your concerns are certainly valid because I share them.
Other members of the committee? Supervisor Taylor.
So was there like a formula created if there's cuts? So like this year is what, $307,000 if the budget comes out and it's only, $200,000. Is there a proportional formula that was established to get to this amount?
Chair, supervisors, the way the tiered funding structure is designed is with the currently allocated $307,000 and change. And the idea is that moving forward, we would continue with a tiered structure, but there would be less money available to provide then.
Okay. Thank you.
Other members of the committee? Is there a motion for approval on this? Supervisor O'Connor?
I'll move to approve.
Thank you very much. There is a motion for approval of this CAMPAC allocation. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, I will say one thing. I will be, Supervisor Eckblatt? Yes, please.
My apologies. Are we voting to award the money as such, and so a no vote would hold up the funding period, or are we voting on the new framework?
Framework.
Just to be clear.
Yeah, framework. We don't know the groups yet. There's been no applications yet. It's just the framework at this time.
Thanks so much. I just wanted to confirm.
Yeah. I will say that I've been asked by the administration to work with CAMPAC. I will personally work with them. I will personally help CAMPAC in some of the allocation, some of the detailed process. I've reached out previously. I think that what we have before us is much better than what we had before. And we also have, actually, Supervisor O'Connor, you've just been appointed to the CAMPAC board too by, I don't know if you know that already, but our chairwoman has appointed you, so you'll actually be serving on the CAMPAC board. So I think there's going to be a lot of oversight. So when it does come to us, it won't be a surprise. And if there's no money, we're going to do there's going to be a proportion of this. Also, the Parks Department will not be involved with this. The other big announcement is we'll be coming with Celia Benton will be in charge. So the Parks Department will no longer be in charge of CAMPAC. I think a lot of people are happy with that too. So we'll leave it like that. So right now we have a vote. Miss, I was going to say Evans, Miss Nian, Nian, if you'd like to call for the vote.
On the motion by Supervisor O'Connor that item number 1 be recommended for adoption, Supervisor O'Connor? Yes. Taylor?
No.
Cogs Jones?
Aye.
Martinez?
Aye.
Ekblad?
Respectfully, no.
Mr. Chairman?
Aye.
4 ayes, 2 noes, the motion prevails.
All right, thank you very much. Let's take up item number 2.
Item 2, the Milwaukee County Parks Department, in coordination with the Department of Administrative Services, Economic Development, and Real Estate Services Division, is requesting approval authorizing Milwaukee County to enter into a long-term lease agreement with Two Weather Vanes LLC for the lease of Trimborn Farm located at 8881 West Grange Avenue, Greendale, Wisconsin. This item was also referred to the Committee on Finance, where its meeting of May 21, this item was recommended for adoption by a vote of 6 to 1.
I don't know if we should take up, just 1 second. She's not on yet, so she says she's going to come at 9:20. So it's 9:20, so 2 minutes from now, maybe start this, but.
Yeah, start the presentation.
All right. Well, first of all, welcome very much. I'm trying to coordinate with Supervisor Vincent, and she's going to be joining in hopefully within a couple minutes. So let's start with this item off, then she'll kind of jump in. I also know that Finance has heard this presentation before, so we want to kind of streamline it too, because we'll have for both. Let's have a presentation that's good for both Finance members, also non-Finance members. So why don't you introduce yourselves and let's start.
Morning, Chairman, Supervisors. Erica Goblet with Economic Development and Real Estate Services. I'm a project manager in that division.
Robert Singlop, Contracts Manager of Milwaukee County Parks.
And we're here today to ask for approval of the lease agreement for Trimborn Farm with Two Weather Vanes LLC. And we have a PowerPoint if it pleases the committee.
Let's start.
I'll also mention the owners of Two Weather Vanes LLC, Dr. Virginia Emmons McNaught and Brett McNaught are here as well. So this has been a long and thoughtful process centered on a difficult but important question. How do we preserve a significant historic county asset in a financially responsible way while ensuring it remains a community resource? We have the history of the historic Trimborn Farm. It's a rare and historically significant site that reflects Milwaukee County's agricultural industrial history. Its story spans immigration, lime production, farming, wartime use, and eventually county stewardship in the 1980s. Like many historic assets, Trimborn requires significant and ongoing investment. Historic preservation, as we know, is expensive, specialized, and long-term. Milwaukee County has not directly operated the site for many years. Stewardship was first entrusted to the park people, and for approximately the last 25 years, the Milwaukee County Historical Society has served as the steward of Trimborn Farm. The Historical Society has been a strong and committed partner, and I want to acknowledge that. They helped preserve public asset and cared for the site during a period when the county was not in a position to directly manage it. That said, over the last several years, when I was working at Parks and now in economic development, the Milwaukee County Historical Society has made it clear that owning and operating historic properties doesn't align with its core mission. And like many cultural organizations, they're also facing financial pressures of their own. They simply do not have the financial capacity to make the level of capital investment Trimborn requires, and they've continued in this role largely as a favor to Milwaukee County and out of a commitment to the site, which we truly appreciate. Before issuing the RFP, we intentionally spent time listening, and Supervisor Vincent was very involved in this, in the listening sessions. This included the county board discussion over a year ago, engagement with the village of Greendale, neighborhood outreach, public town hall, and broader community input. It was not a closed-door procurement exercise. Community feedback materially shaped what we were asking the proposers to address. Project objectives were impacted by community engagement. They shaped the RFP and the evaluation of the proposals. This wasn't simply about finding a tenant. We were looking for a preservation-minded operator that could meet multiple public objectives simultaneously, reducing the county's financial exposure, preserving historic integrity, maintaining public benefit, respecting the neighborhood's character, and presenting a realistic financial business plan. The timeline wasn't rushed. Community outreach began in spring 2025 before the request for proposal was issued, and as I noted, to help inform the process. The RFP was publicly posted in July, a public walkthrough was held in August, and proposals closed at the end of October. We made sure we intentionally had a long RFP period to hopefully get as many proposals as possible for this site. Following a competitive evaluation process, Two Weather Vanes LLC was selected as the most responsive and responsible proposer, with experience managing and revitalizing the Loomis Barn project. They've been an excellent partner already and were a good choice for Trimborn Farm. After the selection, the county held a public meeting in February to announce Two Weather Vanes as the proposed awardee, explain that the lease would be brought forward to the county board for approval, and then give the public an opportunity to hear directly about the proposed partnership before formal board action. So the process included public engagement before the RFP, a competitive procurement process, and public notice of the recommended award before today's request for approval. Why Two Weather Vanes? What distinguished Two Weather Vanes was not simply enthusiasm for the property, but a proposal that aligned with the county's stated objectives. Their model combines preservation, public access, educational community programming, and a path towards financial stability and sustainability. Equally important, they are assuming operational responsibility and capital risk that would otherwise remain on the Milwaukee County taxpayers. No proposal is risk-free, but continuing the status quo carries very real and escalating risk as well. And then we have their business plan. Neighborhood and zoning. I want to acknowledge a concern we heard repeatedly: traffic, activity levels, and compatibility with the surrounding neighborhood. If you haven't been to Trimborn Farm, it is in a residential neighborhood. So these concerns are valid. Approval of this lease is not approval of any use, regardless of zoning or regulatory requirements. Future activities remain subject to applicable review processes at the county, at the Village of Greendale, by the State Historical Preservation Office. And the expectation is that operations remain compatible with community character. And there's lots of levels of review that would make sure that happens. And then I'm going to turn it over to Robert for the lease terms.
Yeah, so we can talk a little bit about the lease. The initial lease term is going to be for 5 years, with the parties to renegotiate terms at the conclusion of the initial term, to ensure that they remain favorable to Milwaukee County and the community. The goal here is to be successful on both sides, Two Weather Vanes to be successful, and then, the goal and hope would be that they are very successful and we can look at the terms, to get a good deal for the county. That way, if this does grow exponentially, the county is able to maintain some financial benefit. So the initial terms, tenant will pay the county $1 annually, and they will also are required to remit 15% of net revenue, with 7.5% allocated to maintenance reserve count, and then also another 7.5% paid to the county. I just want to note, while it does say, they're required to remit, 7.5% to the maintenance fund, working with them, they're committed. It's 7.5% isn't going to cover just what's needed. They are, putting in their own money, their own dollars to rehabilitate and, do some of the capital projects needed. And with that, the lessee will assume responsibilities for all capital improvements, building maintenance, and operational costs. The caveat, parks, we are going to be helping them with snow plowing and mowing for the first year, just to help them get started. And then obviously, public access to Trimborn Farm will be preserved. So, based on all this, Milwaukee County Parks respectfully recommends approval of this file, authorizing a lease agreement for Trimborn Farm with Two Weather Vanes LLC.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I see Supervisor Vincent has joined us. Supervisor Vincent, I'd like to turn this over to you if you'd like to say a few comments about Trimborn Farm. It's also in your district, and we're very anxiously awaiting to hear your thoughts on this project. She's still there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay. Good morning, and thank you, Chairman Wasserman and committee members, Park Committee members. As the supervisor that represents District 11, where Trimborn Farm is. I'm here today to speak in strong support of this proposal regarding the future of Trimborn Farm. Several of you also serve on the Finance Committee, so I'm not going to read everything I said last week, but you heard me speak of this agreement. And I appreciate the continued thoughtful discussion surrounding this important historic property. Quite simply, as you heard from Erica, this proposal is a win for Milwaukee County and a win for the future of Trimborn Farm. For years, this one-of-a-kind historic park has faced deferred maintenance challenges and limited county resources. This agreement creates a sustainable path forward that not only preserves the history and integrity of the site, but it also maintains public access and shifts the responsibility for capital improvements and operational costs away from taxpayers. At the same time, it does open the door for Trimborn Farm to become an active and interactive destination for the community. Just last week, approvals were granted allowing such as livestock, including chickens, which is a hot button topic in Greendale, on the property. Helping move this vision forward or toward a goal is working on the to enhance the educational historic farm experience is what I meant to say for residents and visitors alike. I do want to recognize the collaborative efforts surrounding this proposal. There has been substantial community engagement throughout this process, as was mentioned privately speaking. And I appreciate the work of Director Celia Benton, Erica Goulet, and those that served on the RFP committee, and those that worked to contribute their time and expertise to this decision. I especially want to thank you, Chairman Wasserman, for attending the walkthrough of this back in August. It shows your dedication and interest parks and for taking the time firsthand both the challenges and the opportunities that are at Trimborn Farm. I would be happy to arrange and work with the office, Celia Benton and Erica Goublet's office to arrange for a tour for any committee members who would like to visit the property. I know we're going to set to vote on this on Thursday, but I think it is definitely in your interest to take a walk at the site at some point and to learn more about the vision and the future of this unique county asset. So I respectfully urge support of this resolution, and I'm happy to answer any questions. I will say that I've worked closely over the last several months with two weather vanes as they have involved the community, not only the community, but they also involved every single other RFP applicant in the process so that we can get the best step forward here. So I will end there, and I thank you for your time this morning, and thank you for moving this item up, Chairman Wasserman.
Absolutely, Supervisor Vincent. At this time, I do have speakers who want to speak actually against this proposal. So I have 3 blue cards from them, but at this time, do we have any questions for Robert, Celia, or for Supervisor Vincent at this time from community members? From non-committee members? All right, Supervisor Martinez. Sorry.
Thank you. Yeah, real quick, I just wanted to say we did talk about this in finance, and I think there was like a part of me that was fully ready to go on it, and then there was part of me that was on the fence. But then, like at the end, I decided I wanted to say that this should go forward as long as there is that friends group that is going to have oversight over what's going on, and that should be okay with me. So I'll wait to make the motion for right now. Thank you.
You said you want to make the motion at this time? Or?
I think I want to wait until
got it.
Till the speakers have their chance to speak, because I feel like it's kind of not cool to do it before they speak. So, okay.
No problem, Supervisor Martinez. Supervisor Taylor.
I'll make a motion to adopt.
All right, there's now been a motion for adoption. Any further discussion on this part of our meeting? At this point, I'd like to call up the 3 speakers who would like to talk. Ron Rosh, who I just met. He is the first up. If people would like to speak, and you have to fill out a blue card. If you filled out a blue card, I have 3 people. I will call up the 3. And the people are, it's Ron Rosh, it's Rex Rosh, and I have Julie Krajan. You like to go, is that okay with Ron? Okay, fine.
Is that okay?
Absolutely. You have people giving you a thumbs up behind you. How can I say no?
A few decades since I've had to speak publicly,
Yeah.
so.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is my microphone on?
Your microphone is on. I do want to say we were giving everybody 2 minutes to talk, and
Pretty short.
it looks like we can get that in. So everyone's going to have 2 minutes to talk. And Sandy, if you're going to be our counter on that. And welcome if you'd like to introduce yourself and just tell us.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak regarding our mutual concern for the future of Trimborn Farm Park. My name is Judy Kraniak, and I was the program director and resided with my family at the farm from 1997 to 2001. With respect for the 7 proposals, Ron and I understand that each had good intentions for the farm's stabilization and betterment. Having stated this, I want to go on record that our proposal was not in favor of the RFP's commercial adaptive reuse model. Forming a nonprofit Friends of Trimborn as the governing body would ensure the farm's historical integrity as well as keeping it a financially sustainable and independent public asset. Noting that sustainability is only possible if all monies raised for the farm remain with the property. Adaptive reuse would be the antithesis of this concept, putting a for-profit commercial enterprise in the lead role. This issue regarding public community spaces being governed as a commercial for-profit enterprise is a major concern for the citizens you serve. Voting for this concept will set a precedent towards the erosion of other public assets into private hands with commercial plans as first priority. The importance of Trimborn being democratically governed and managed by a nonprofit Friends organization is foundational. Any suggestion of a Friends group forming to support the commercial use is incongruent with the farm functioning as a public asset and implies aligning aid with the for-profit concept. The time, energy, and funds needed to make the proposed infrastructure changes alone would better serve the farm being used to secure its most critical restoration needs. Trimborn's 130 years of active history, as well as its indigenous legacy and geology, is enough lived experience to support all aspects of the farm's future. Trimborn Farm does not need a new life. It needs and has been waiting decades for its authentic life. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for your comments. I'll give you a choice. Who would like to go next? All right. So is this a father-son team or? Okay, got it. So and spouse? All right. So the fathers.
Hopefully people don't know this is happening or there could be protests here.
All right. The father will go first. I'd like you to introduce yourself and then your son in 2 minutes.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Ron Rosh. I'm a historic preservation specialist, sole proprietor of Two Hands Restoration, and a lifelong advocate of Trimborn Farm. I have been involved with and researched the site for the last 57 years. I have found, befriended, and interviewed hundreds of alumni and descendants of the county. While I appreciate all current interest in awakening and protecting Trimborn, this feels like little more than kind words. Anyone truly interested in restoration would know that 7.5% of projected for-profit revenue going towards the buildings is nowhere near enough to make a difference. It is also very difficult to hear praise for and continued involvement of Milwaukee County Historical Society. This organization could not remember if they spent $100,000 or $200,000 to assess the damages of unlawful neglect on one building on site which they themselves allowed to happen. Nor have they well promoted, developed, or preserved Trimborn Farm in more than 2 decades. However, they are indefinitely included in the proposed new life of the farm. If Two Weather Vane's proposal were offered as a fundraising aspect of Old World, Wisconsin or Milwaukee Soldiers Home, I would believe it would be deemed intrusive, inappropriate, and summarily dismissed. In addition, a performance review of 2 weather vanes at Root River Barn, a compatible enterprise of the past 2 years, is necessary and should include comments from the public and the Greendale administration. A vast majority of Greendale and county residents have no idea what is happening as this National Register cultural asset is seriously compromised with the hopeful intention of commerce in these economic times. In conclusion, given the failed performance of the last 45 years, naturally there is wishful thinking. Hoping the future voyage succeeds, as I sense the ship is headed toward an iceberg, I would like my warnings to be on record. Thank you for your time. I offer a competitive and very enlightening tour of the farm at your time convenience. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And now, I assume you're Rex.
I am Rex.
Oh, microphone? No, the button, perfect.
All right. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, thank you for your time. My name is Rex Roche. I'm an advocate for Trimborn Farm, the Curtin House, as well as for all Milwaukee County parks. Last Thursday, Supervisor Belinsky asked if any nonprofit organization existed that could assume operations at Trimborn. The fact that no such organization exists is by design. The park people had no interest in allowing a nonprofit friends group to form, and this continued under the Milwaukee County Historical Society. Only one in-person meeting was held last June, where public interest in a friends group was expressed. It was said more public meetings would happen in July, which never occurred. No meeting regarding the formation of a governing nonprofit group ever took place, and the RFP process began. I was then surprised to hear in a meeting in this same room this past winter that Veterans Park was granted a full year to start a governing friends group before going to RFP. When I asked why this was allowed for Veterans Park and not for Trimborn, Celia Benton had no response and was since fallen back on a friends group can be started at any time, which completely negates the issue of governance over a historic site and public asset. There is also a contradiction in language that so much time was granted to the public between April and June of last year, but now that a proposal has been selected, it is given a short lease of 5 years. This process has been rushed and was not transparent. Anyone with questions or constructive criticism has been at best schmoozed and at worst ignored or scolded for not falling in line. Even after Ms. Emmons commented to the audience in February that if there is too much pushback to her, she can, quote, just walk away and let the buildings fall over. When she approached me that evening, I said I would be willing to discuss Trimborn further. I also expressed this to Supervisor Vincent, yet no effort was made to follow through on my offers. If there actually was enough legitimate oversight, as Ms. Emmons last week hastily asserted there is, Trimborn would not be in the dire situation it is currently in. In closing, do not be surprised when this proposal does not work, when 7.5% of craft and coffee revenue does not restore the gross deterioration allowed by the Historical Society, and when more embarrassment for the county and headaches for the community ensues. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you very much, sir. Questions from committee members, comments? Is there anybody else who would like to talk about this issue? Seeing none, we have a motion on the floor from Supervisor Taylor. Ms. Nean, if you'd like to call the roll.
On the motion by Supervisor Taylor that item number 2 be recommended for adoption, Supervisor O'Connor? Aye. Taylor?
Aye.
Cogs Jones?
Could you repeat that, Supervisor Cogs Jones? I can see your mouth moving, but I can't hear the words.
Okay, I'll try again.
Now we hear
I can
you.
hear you.
Right hand, thumbs up, words.
Okay.
Aye.
Aye, okay.
Martinez?
Aye.
Ekblad?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman?
Aye.
6 ayes, 0 noes, the motion prevails.
You are on the record, so we'll see what happens in the future. All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Supervisor Vincent, and we will be hearing this on Thursday, too. The item will be there on Thursday for the full board. If you'd like to call the next item on the agenda, Ms. Nean.
Item 3, an action report providing an update on the status of the McGovern Senior Center and requesting $100,000 from Org Unit 194-1945, appropriation for contingencies, fund planning, design, and cost estimating expenses by the Department of Administrative Services Facilities Management Division as they work with the Department of Health and Human Services for a long-term senior center solution on the northwest side of Milwaukee. This item was referred to this committee, Health, Equity, Human Needs, and Strategic Planning for informational purposes only. It was also referred to the Committee on Finance. At the March meeting of the County Board, this item was laid over for one meeting. At the April 20 County Board meeting, this item was referred to the Committee on Parks and Culture and Finance. And at the May 21 meeting of Finance, this item was recommended for adoption by a vote of 6-1.
Welcome. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yeah, Chair of Supervisors, Aaron Hertzberg, Director of Administrative Services here at Milwaukee County. Appreciate the time. You know, as the clerk read in, this item has an extensive history. We presented 3 times at 3 committees. In the March cycle, it was considered by the board, laid over till April, then laid over again and referred back to committees here. At Finance Committee, went over just sort of the basics. I'll do the same here, save you the time of the whole presentation. Big picture. The intention here is that the McGovern Senior Center unfortunately has met the end of its useful life, right? We've had the floods. We've talked about that extensively. We've had more flooding since then, this past April. The building has been shuttered since those floods last August. We continue to have those issues. We did an analysis on what it would take to save the building. The investment we did not think was worthwhile in making that investment. The Department of Health and Human Services has been looking at temporary services within that area. We've struggled to find good fits for temporary services. And the intention here is to request this $100,000 from contingency, which can kickstart us on a path to looking at a long-term solution for the northwest side of Milwaukee, where we believe senior services are incredibly important to provide in that neighborhood. We went through extensive data in the March cycle talking about why we think that's an important neighborhood. Again, the $100,000 would allow us to start exploring a multitude of options. We've had several suggested available locations that have come from residents in the neighborhood. It's come from Supervisor Martin, who represents that area. We'd love to have some resources to help explore some of those options with the idea that we could run those to ground and then come back to you with a full slate of what it would take to build senior services back into that community and have a facility to do that. So with that, I'm happy to answer questions or fill in any other additional details that could be helpful for the committee's consideration.
Thank you very much. Members of the committee, questions, concerns, motions? Supervisor Martinez, Supervisor Martinez was for, or was it Supervisor Ekbach was first?
It's
Yeah, I see his hand. Sorry. Supervisor Ekbach, you have the floor.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to approve.
There's a motion for approval. Any further discussion? All right. It's information. All right. We don't have to lay it over. Then all right. This is information only, so we don't have to have an approval. I made a mistake right there. We do have one person who would like to speak on this, so before we move on, I would say the famous Denise Callaway would please come on up, and you have 2 minutes to talk about this item.
Here we go. Thank you, Chair Wasserman. Good morning, members of the committee and other supervisors. I am Denise Callaway. I am chair of the Milwaukee County Commission on Aging, and we would like to ask the committee to please approve this and to move this forward to the full County Board of Supervisors. As was mentioned, we are looking and have been searching diligently almost since August, when McGovern was no longer usable, to find temporary solutions. But that is just that. It is a temporary solution. When we take a look at seniors around the McGovern area, we know that they are those who are in greatest need of services. And we need to be able to find a place for them permanently where that can be done. We are really proud of the fact that we worked with the American Heart Association and the Department of Health and Human Services to set up in all senior centers what are blood pressure hubs, where seniors can check their blood pressure, right? I'm mentioning this because we had, over the course of the time, a 6-month window when that blood pressure monitor was in McGovern. We had 913 seniors who came and got their blood pressure checked. I talked to seniors there who had high blood pressure, didn't know it, and were able to discover this because we had a senior center there that could offer a full range of services. It worries me a little bit to wonder what's happened to those individuals now because that asset is not available. So we would ask the committee to please approve this item and support it. Seniors in McGovern are waiting. We're looking for a temporary location, but everybody deserves a home. And we're asking you to move this forward, please, so we can have a permanent home for seniors in the McGovern area. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Further comments from committee members? I would like to say that I would hope Supervisor Martin in March brought up the issue of having this go to Capitol Court or Midtown and look at the facility there. If you'd like to make any comments about Midtown, especially if we could work with the city of Milwaukee with all their, maybe less data center there and maybe more senior center.
Chair, Supervisors, that is one of the options we would like to explore. And again, we're a little bit concerned about that site in that the city is planning to keep moving that forward. We need some resources to get started if we're going to explore that option so that we can maintain a similar timeline with them. That's one of the reasons we want the resources to be able to get a kickstart on that. I know there's been some suggestions about waiting until the budget cycle and then allocating the resources. If we stay on that model, then we don't get to access dollars until January. That's why we're asking. It's a relatively small investment now, so we can start to explore that option.
Yeah, I like the Midtown facility. I think Supervisor Martin really hit it nail on the head. It's really of a unique area. It's really the north side. All roads come to the former Capitol Court. For those who grew up in Milwaukee, we all know Capitol Court, and it's famous. Went to the gingerbread house and the cookie house, for those who remember this. It's a famous site for all Milwaukeeans who still remember it in a very good light. And I think senior citizens would know that if you have a senior center in the old cookie house of Milwaukee, I think that would have a special memory for a lot of senior centers. So keep it in mind in your programming. Next item up, Ms. Nian. Item number 4.
Item 4 from the Executive Director of Parks requesting authorization to grant an easement to American Transmission Company, ATC, on county-owned land adjacent to Silver Spring Drive and I-41.
Welcome. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Mr. Chairman, committee members, Robert Singlob, Contracts Manager for Milwaukee County Parks. If you don't mind, I'd like to share a quick PowerPoint.
Absolutely.
All right, so back in March, we took this as an informational item. So I'll try to keep it semi-short and sweet and then, leave room for questions. So obviously, we are requesting a permanent easement with ATC, county-owned land by Silver Spring Drive and the Zoo Interchange, I-41. A little bit of background. This project is being constructed to strengthen the regional electric grid and improve the system reliability. The Public Service Commission of Wisconsin has formally determined that this project is necessary to ensure adequate and reliable supply of electric power for the region. This is a critical component for maintaining grid stability, public safety, and economic development capacity in southeastern Wisconsin. Mentioned last time, ATC evaluated alternative routes for the project. It was determined that the alternative routes would be more expensive and have greater environmental impacts. On that, our areas of concern, our natural areas staff, we go through a process to approve these easements. They did not have any concerns as well with the route. So energy efficiency and demand response measures were determined to be technically and economically insufficient to resolve the reliability concerns. So the Public Service Commission rejected a no-build option because it would leave the system in violation of mandatory reliability standards. All right, so the terms, the easement is permanent. The easement fee is $1.60 per square foot. The easement size is 48,734 square feet. which brings the total easement fee to $77,974.40. And then here are some images of it, location, and then, based on all this, Parks is recommending approval of this easement.
All right, thank you very much, Robert. Members of the committee, is there questions, concerns? Supervisor O'Connor.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to explain when I vote no why I'm doing that, and it's mostly because of my concerns around transparency with the Public Service Commission. Right now, we're looking at a proposed 14% rate hike from We Energies. I've got a resolution that addresses that. It came before the Intergovernmental Relations Committee this past month, and all the municipalities signed on. So I will be voting no because of the transparency around the rate hikes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Supervisor O'Connor. How much is ATC owned by a PSC operated company, PSC controlled company?
I'd have to look at the exact specifics. I also there has been some development. I can send him a Teams message. I believe he's listening. I've been working with Assistant Corp Counsel James Davies on this easement. I don't know if he will.
I'd love to be able to get this question answered before the board day, before Thursday. If this specific item, this specific company, ATC, is controlled, if their rates are controlled by the PSC. So, thank you. Do we have a motion for this, members of the committee?
I'll make a motion to adopt.
Thank you very much, Supervisor Taylor. Do you have a follow-up information on this item? Oh, please. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Good morning. Yes, Vanessa Koster, Director of Administration. To answer your question, Chair Supervisor, yes, it is owned by.
So ATC is owned by We Energies?
Not owned by We Energies.
But it's controlled, their rates are set by?
Yes, PCS.
By the way, have they sought a 14% increase? Or have they had a recent request, a rate increase by ATC?
That I am not aware of.
Just curious. It's kind of following up along the lines of Supervisor O'Connor. All right. Love to know that answer by Thursday, but thank you. There's been now a motion on the floor for approval. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please, if Ms. Nean, if you'd like to call the roll.
On the motion by Supervisor Taylor that item number 4 be recommended for adoption, Supervisor O'Connor?
No.
Taylor?
Aye.
Cogs Jones?
No.
Martinez?
No.
Ekblad?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman?
Aye.
3 ayes, 3 noes, the motion fails.
Right, will be reported to the board on.
This will go to the county board meeting on Thursday with a recommendation for rejection.
Got it. Thank you very much. Next item. Oh.
Item 5 from the executive.
Before we bring up this item, I'd just like to explore this because I don't want to do this on the floor, and I think the chairwoman's directions has been very clear to have things worked out in committee. If this comes up and the vote is no on full board day, what happens then, Robert?
Well, I can share a little bit more, and obviously for all legal questions, you can talk to Corp Counsel, not my role. With this project, ATC does have a certificate of necessity. And from working with James Davies, Assistant Corp Counsel, essentially the project is going to move forward.
So it's going to move forward regardless of, so we vote no, it doesn't matter.
That is my understanding, for specific legal interpretations, I would talk with him, but yes.
I think what I'd like to do is if Corporation Counsel present? Oh.
Yep, I'm here.
Mr. Davies, Attorney Davies, can you make a comment? I think it's important that our committee work this out right now before we kind of have this kind of blow up in our faces on Thursday. So, Ms. Davies, can you explain to us if there is a rejection that comes in before the full board on Thursday, what happens?
So because ATC was issued that...
Can you also speak a little louder?
Yeah, yep. Can you hear me better? Yes? Sure.
Hard to hear.
Is that any better? No?
It'd be a little bit better, but yeah, just...
Okay. Because that public certificate of necessity was issued, basically the process is either we come to an agreement or a court will issue the easement as ATC asked for, and then we're sent to arbitration to determine the price. However, we did get, Robert got ATC to agree to the price we asked for. And so basically, likely the only thing that would happen is we'd get less money if we say no.
Can you hear?
Yeah. Well, basically said that we're going to get less money because it will go to arbitration if we don't agree to do this. ATC agreed to the price we requested, and if we don't do this, then it goes to arbitration. End result, they would still be able to do it. We get less money. Yeah, I don't know why we can't hear anything. There's a big fan above us, and then it's just all been quiet. The entire day's been quiet, so something needs to be done.
Yeah. Kelsey, yeah. Supervisor O'Connor.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for the explanation. And I guess that is the perfect illustration of why I'm voting no, because I feel like we're really at the whim of We Energies, the Public Service Commission. It's, for all intents and purposes, a monopoly, and the customers are the ones that end up footing the bill for these expansions of big users. So in particular, this arrangement is being justified by expansion of the grid. And what we haven't seen to date is how individual consumers are being protected with these expansions. So our understanding is that a lot of the expansions are being justified because of the influx of data centers and other large end users. And again, it is not clear how consumers are being protected and not footing the bill for some of these large corporate users. And here we are, another perfect example of how we have no ability to do anything about it. Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Ms. Evans.
I just wanted to clarify, the motion to adopt failed, but because the vote was 3-3, it will go without recommendation.
Without Mr. Davies, are you in the county courthouse? Is there any way that you could kind of run over here and come in person?
Yeah, sure. Room 203?
Yeah. I think it would be very helpful to have you here. They're located. All right. Yeah, what's it? Yeah. But you know, it shouldn't just be the HVAC. I mean, it's because it's actually muffled. It's like it's muddled. Can we get the tech department, IT, working on this?
That's why, Mr. Chairman, that at finance, at 1,000% batting average, everybody came here because I wanted everybody to be here because I think, COVID's over and I think in person is the way to go. That's just the direction I gave to all the departments that I met with, and I appreciate that they did show up and not do this, this virtual crap because you just can't hear it and it's not even appropriate anymore.
Supervisor Ecklet is his hand up and Supervisor Martinez Hayat is hand up.
All right, thank you. Supervisor O'Connor, thank you very much for your sharp eye to my left. I really appreciate it.
Because I'm not looking there,
So I really appreciate that. All right. I see we have supervisors who want to talk. I appreciate your quick, as you take a breath, just breathe for a second. We have two supervisors' hands up. Let's take those, the supervisors, and then you'll be able to breathe in. You can speak at that point when you have your breath. Supervisor Eckbleit, I think you had your hand up first.
Yeah, just a point of information, Mr. Chairman. This matter has been dealt with already by this committee, and I understand that it's not moving forward for recommendation. Are we just asking Corporation Counsel to confirm next steps? Are we continuing to debate? I just would appreciate the clarification.
Absolutely. The purpose of this conversation to have is that this is a conversation, the chairwoman, Marcella Nicholson Bovell, has been very clear that we should do the duty of the committee in the committee, and it should not be for a floor discussion. And before we go to a floor discussion with a 3-3 vote, there's going to be multiple questions raised, and there's going to be multiple legal questions, and I'm afraid that this is going to turn into a full board discussion when it doesn't have to be. So I think our members should be here. If we can accomplish something here, as all members of this Parks Committee, we can maybe come up with maybe a new vote, besides just a 3-3 vote, but at least be informed of what direction a decision on Thursday would be, either positive or negative, or how it's going to affect the county. And this has a financial implication to it, too. It's a $77,000 budget, a $77,000 item that we're going to be coming. If we're going to turn down $77,000, something's going to be cut in the budget, so it's going to go to finance. So there's multiple implications of this decision that we're going to make. So I'd rather have us fully informed of what we're doing, and that's why I'm giving an extra time. So although the vote was held, there might be a new reconsideration of a vote with pending this additional information. Supervisor Akbar.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate that clarification. Thank you.
Now, did I also have another supervisor want to speak before? All right. Mr. Davies, I think you've had time to breathe, so the floor is yours, and I think you know the direction of where these questions are coming from. Can you give us a legal explanation of what's going to happen if we vote no or vote yes? Especially the no.
So because of that, thank you, Supervisor. Oh, sorry. Thank you, Supervisors. Thank you, Chairman. So because of that certificate, so the certificate of public necessity and convenience is not something that is usually issued with these easement requests. But when that is issued, the process is we have 90 days to negotiate. They can give us more time, the ATC or the utility.
I'm getting informed by my former vice chair that Steve Cady is already sending a message right now. And can Supervisor Taylor, if you'd like to read the message?
Director Cady is just saying that we would need to reconsider to take testimony on this file, that this file has been acted on already.
I would like, at this time, I think it's important that we have a motion to reconsider, at least for a
Can anybody make it, consider it as 3-3?
Reconsideration had to be on the prevailing side.
When it's 3-3, what's prevailing?
Yeah, I'm a tad unclear who prevailed when the motion, I would think somebody who voted no because the motion failed would be on the prevailing side. So I think Supervisor O'Connor. Reconsideration?
I'll make a motion to reconsider, just so we can continue the conversation.
There's a motion for reconsideration, and this, once again, for committee members, this is for a discussion. Before we do anything, I think a discussion should be held. So there's a motion now for reconsideration. Any discussion on this motion? Seeing none, Ms. Nean, if you could like to call the roll on this.
On the motion by Supervisor Taylor that item number 4 be reconsidered, Supervisor O'Connor?
Aye.
Taylor?
Aye.
Cogs-Jones?
Aye.
Martinez?
Aye.
Ekblad?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman?
Aye.
6 ayes, 0 noes. The item is before you.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Nean. The floor is yours, Mr. Davis, Attorney Davis.
Thank you again, Chairman and the board. So because this certificate of public convenience and necessity was issued...
You talked into the...
Because the certificate of public convenience and necessity was issued, the process in the statute for us as a county is that if we say no, the easement exactly as ATC asks for it is granted by the court, and there's a case open with this already. And then we go to arbitration for the value of the easement. ATC has already given us everything we asked for in terms of the value, which I am not an expert in easement valuation, but looking at the properties nearby is likely probably about the best we can do. So we would get money. We wouldn't get $0 if we vote no. It would probably be, I would guess it would be slightly less than what we're getting. They still have to compensate us for it, but we'd go to arbitration for that amount, and we would have to pay our half of the arbitration costs.
Supervisor O'Connor.
Given that there is a lack of clarity in that our previous vote lacked a recommendation. Can we ask for more money?
We can always ask for more. They would say no. I've talked to the attorney that they have on this, and this was less than they wanted to give us. But this was a compromise amount that they were willing to give it to us because this is generally what Parks charges. Obviously, we could always try an arbitration to get more, but I think that would be unlikely, is my opinion.
Thank you.
This comes back to a committee meeting that Supervisor Martinez brought up a very interesting thing. We raised a point of how much we wanted. I think the number was $100,000. And to jump it ahead, we're also going to have to pay legal fees for this arbitration, correct? Or
the arbitrator, the fees for the arbitrator. It would be, I assume, handled by Corp Counsel.
So it would be in-house counsel for that?
Correct, but we would have to pay for the arbitrator. Or half of the arbitrator, we'd split that.
So how much did that usually run?
I don't know.
But probably you're talking several $1,000s.
I would have to look that.
No idea.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Supervisor Ekblad.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the reconsideration. I appreciate my colleagues voting to reconsider. I certainly share frustrations around We Energies generally. The rate hikes, the lack of transparency, all of that I'm in complete agreement with. I do doubt the vehicle of venting that frustration and using this matter specifically as a vehicle to vent that frustration. First of all, we would be, in my opinion, acting irresponsibly to deny the county income that we could then pay to go to arbitration for or get less of. We're kind of shooting ourselves in the foot for the sake of making a point. Second, there are other ways that we can act on the lack of transparency from We Energies that actually will address that transparency. Denying this action will not. There are other ways we can voice our frustrations. This is a poor vehicle for doing that. It just seems really unfortunate to create a cost to the taxpayer directly for the sake of having zero impact on the actual source of our frustration. So I would really encourage my colleagues to reconsider and act positively on this motion and then cooperate together to find a more appropriate avenue for venting our frustrations and making progress on our mutual frustrations with We Energies.
Thank you very much, Supervisor Ekblad. Other members of the committee? Mr. Davies, would this take state legislative change? Is that the best way, if you to really address Supervisor O'Connor and really all of our questions on this committee, what is the best way to really address the concerns that Supervisor O'Connor made?
So there is state legislation involved. That's where this certificate of public necessity and convenience comes in, but it is the Public Service Commission that chose to grant it. So I either through legislative action or through how the Public Service Commission handles these types of requests or what their criteria are for granting them would be the two methods of handling. And this is ATC, not We Energies, just to be clear.
Okay. Supervisor O'Connor.
Thank you, Chair. And so I guess I'm just wondering aloud if possibly for Board Day I could prepare an amendment to this resolution that would also express our sort of discontent with this arrangement and the fact that we are feeling a little bit over a barrel on it. So I will be checking with our research department to see if that is possible to sort of capture some of the sentiment in the room here today in an amendment.
All right. Further discussion? Committee members? Is there a motion to be offered at this time?
Well, I made the last motion to adopt, so I guess I can do it again. I'm going to do it again.
All right. Supervisor.
Not that I disagree with anything that's being said. I mean, like, this is a joke, right? I mean, the fact is this before us, even though the decision's been made, and then we just won't make as much money, so that is foolish to not accept the revenue that we should be getting. But this is a larger picture, which I believe, Supervisor O'Connor brought in the resolution that went to a couple committees and was adopted. So This is an ongoing problem, and it seems like, I mean, both houses in Madison, both sides of the aisle, see this. Just now, something needs to be done because our residents are footing the bill big time with these types of increases.
Quick question, I guess this is a legal question. Could we at this time request, change the agreement to $100,000, or we cannot legally do that at this time?
I could go back to the attorney and say that's what we want. Based on my conversations, I think it's extraordinarily unlikely they would agree to that.
And that's not even the issue. The issue, there's just so much more than just, $30,000 or whatever. I mean, this is much bigger.
Absolutely. But if we're losing, get something out of it. All right, we have a motion right now on the floor for approval. Supervisor O'Connor?
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to explain again in advance what my vote will be, and I take to heart my colleagues' concerns that we would be, just compromising the amount of funding that we would receive, and I am definitely, worried about that. There's risk involved. On the other hand, this feels like bullying, so just to, I guess, hold my ground, I will be still keeping a no vote. Thank you.
Okay. All right, further conversations from community members? Seeing none, Ms. Nan, if you'd like to call the roll.
On the motion by Supervisor Taylor that item number 4 be recommended for adoption, Supervisor O'Connor?
No.
Taylor?
Aye.
Cogs Jones?
Could you repeat that, Supervisor Cogs? Aye.
Martinez?
Aye.
Ekblad?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman?
Aye.
5 ayes, 1 no, the motion prevails.
Thank you very much, Ms. Nan. We look forward to also reading your, what comes from your research, Supervisor O'Connor. Thank you very much. Thank you for running down here.
Of
too.
course.
All right. Next item on the
Item 5 from the Executive Director of Parks requesting authorization to retroactively submit and accept a Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources DNR Land and Water Conservation Fund LWCF grant in the amount of $752,783 to support the redesign and construction of a splash pad at Washington Park Pool. This item was also referred to the Committee on Finance, where its meeting of May 21, this item was recommended for adoption by a vote of 7-0.
Once again, before you start, Robert, their Supervisor Taylor was wanting to know what's in the boxes. If people would like to come up and have a donut or some Italian cookies, please come up. You're more than welcome. That includes people from the administration and also the Parks Foundation people. I think there's Rebecca Stoner's there, so if you'd like to come back. Yes. And also if the Executive Director of the Parks Department of Recreation would like to come up, come on up too, Guy. All right, sounds good. Robert, the floor is for yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Committee members, Robert Singlob, Contracts Manager, Milwaukee County Parks. I'll try to keep this one short and sweet. Obviously, we are requesting authorization to apply and accept a grant in the amount of $752,783 to support the redesign and construction of the splash pad at Washington Park Pool. This project was kind of determined in our aquatic study. This grant requires a 1-to-1 match, but I am pleased to say, and I know Director Rebecca Stoner of the Milwaukee Parks Foundation is here, and but just to reiterate, they will be providing the match for this project. So if all goes well and we are approved the amount we are requesting, we are looking at getting a total of around $1,505,000.
Wow.
$505, well, can't talk, around $1.5 million with the grant and then the Parks Foundation match.
Sounds great. Community members, questions, concerns? This is an action item, and Finance has already acted on it, but we'd like to put our thumbprint on this too. Supervisor Priscilla Cogs Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move this item for adoption or approval.
Thank you very much. Further conversation? Seeing none, Ms. Moon, if you'd like to call the roll.
On the motion by Supervisor Cogs-Jones that item number 5 be recommended for adoption, Supervisor O'Connor?
Aye.
Taylor?
Aye.
Cogs-Jones? Martinez?
Aye.
Ekblad?
Was an aye.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman?
Aye.
6 ayes, 0 noes, the motion prevails.
All right. Item number 6, if you'd like to call out.
Item 6 from the Executive Director of Parks providing an update regarding the Milwaukee Parks Foundation. This item is informational only unless otherwise directed by the committee.
Welcome. If you'd like to introduce yourselves, and welcome to the committee.
Mr. Chairman, Supervisors, Guy Smith, Executive Director for Milwaukee County Parks, and I'm joined by...
Mr. Chair.
I turned it off. Apologies. Good morning, Rebecca Stoner, Executive Director, Milwaukee Parks Foundation.
So we want to keep this committee, especially, we want to keep the full board informed, but obviously Parks Committee, we want to keep you up to date on the great things that the Milwaukee Parks Foundation continues to do. So Rebecca is going to provide a PowerPoint kind of explaining what we've been up to. And so we've had a lot of great projects, programming, that have been funded, and also we're actually going to be recognizing some of our donors this evening to thank them for their support and hopefully continued support.
Great.
Wonderful. So, Mr. Chair, members of the committee, I'm excited just pulling up my PowerPoint now so I can share it with folks online. One moment. Boop, boop, boop. Apologies. There we go. All right, wonderful. So as you all know, I try to come here at least once a year just to share what we've been up to and otherwise keep you guys in the loop throughout the year. So thank you all so much for your commitment to parks. Just a quick overview of who we are as a reminder. So we are a 501c3 nonprofit, a separate organization that works obviously very closely with the County Parks Department. Our mission is to collectively steward a thriving park system, and our vision is to support a safe and vibrant park system that benefits all. I'm really, really proud to share that, we have staff as early as 2021, and in those 4 years, we've pledged or invested more than $3.8 million into our park system. Our engagement events have brought more than 13,500 people into parks, and we've leveraged nearly 6,000 volunteer hours. So we are working hard. Just a few other impact metrics that I wanted to share beyond those big numbers. I won't go into all of them, but our support has helped plant more than 3,000 trees in our parks. We have a Sprouts program that supports grassroots leaders through small grants, and those partners have brought more than 8,000 individuals into parks through things such as basketball clinics, farmers markets, and then our support has actually directly supported at least 4 roles at Milwaukee County Parks, including a trails work crew. So we're working hard to build capacity of the team at parks. I'm also really excited to introduce, I have Tristan Shorter, Associate Director with Milwaukee Parks Foundation, is on the call today. Hi, Tristan. And Kelly Mardica, our Director of Development. So they just wanted to pop in and say hi. We have expanded our team, and I'm really excited to have more people to have even a greater impact and build our capacity. And then just a couple of project spotlights. So I'm sure many of you are familiar with the Moe Park basketball court renovations. This was in partnership with the Pat Connaughton Foundation and Running Rebels. The Moe Park basketball courts are actually home to the longest running outdoor league in the country, thanks to Running Rebels. And we did a complete renovation of those courts. In addition, McGovern Park has been a huge focus of ours. I know we just heard about the senior center a little bit earlier. We have invested more than $300,000 in a variety of projects, mostly focused on trail cleanup, lagoon testing and cleanup, invasive species removal, and tree planting in and around the park. That is an ongoing project. We do have continued support for that. And just showing a few before and after pictures of what that work really looks like.
It's nice.
And then looking ahead, I wanted you all to be aware of what we are going to be working on the next few years. So thankfully, and that's the whole Parks Foundation team right there. But thankfully, our board of directors just approved a new strategic plan at the end of April. We have set a very aggressive goal to invest $10 million into parks and engage more than 24,000 people by the end of 2029. So that's, a little bit more than double what we've done to date, but we are confident that we will do it and the community will support us. And then I've outlined our just high-level core strategies there in case those are of interest. And then at the bottom there, of course, we need all of you and everybody engaged in parks to help us continue build the movement for parks and get involved. And with that, we've got a couple of signature projects that we are going to be focusing on. So we just heard about the commitment from Milwaukee Parks Foundation to the future of the Washington Park Aquatics Facility, which will be a super splash pad. This is one of a kind. We don't have anything like this in Milwaukee County. These images are just vision images. This is not finalized. We're in the process of community engagement. There's a lot more engagement planning and design that needs to happen. But I wanted you all to be aware that we do hope to fund this with a significant amount of private philanthropy, and we already have a number of donors interested in supporting this project so that we can really make it something the community is excited about. And then another project we're really focused on, so we've raised more than $350,000 for Walker Square Park. That is leveraged against some funding that we got from the city of Milwaukee a couple of years ago. That planning and design work is underway, and we are set to break ground in 2027. So those are two of the larger capital projects we're focused on. At any given time, we have between 10 and 20 projects that we're working on, but, a picture's worth 1,000 words. So then, last but not least, here's some concrete ways to get involved. You all are already very involved. Thank you for being out in the parks. But obviously, attending an event, visiting a park, those are really easy ways to connect to your parks. Milwaukee Parks Foundation has a number of committees that we really rely on, a network of more than 50 people to help us do the work that we do. We're also working with county parks to do tree planting and park cleanups. And of course, we're always open to support of any kind, and you can donate at our website. So with that, I'll close with one of my favorite quotes about parks. If we had a medicine that delivered as many benefits as parks, we would all be taking it. Parks deliver cardiovascular benefits, fight loneliness, combat osteoporosis, counter stress, anxiety, and more, and they do those things without adverse side effects and at minimal costs. So thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. I also want to say thank you very much for the work that you've done on behalf of Milwaukee County. Raising $3.5 million for the parks has been wonderful, and this is people who voluntarily want to give money to support our parks. It not only helps your counterpart to your left, but it also helps all of us. It helps the finance committee, it helps our county board, and it really helps the citizens of Milwaukee County. As a parks chair, I've been giving repeated things, trying to get more money for you, and people will get a tax deduction. So whoever's listening to this thing, this is a great way to donate money, get a tax deduction, and help our community. So I'm a big, big advocate, and thank you for all the work you've done.
Thank you so
I think it's really made a difference, so thank you. Members of the committee, questions, concerns? Supervisor O'Connor.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to echo those statements of gratitude. You guys do an amazing job and really assist us with the amenities and making our parks more usable and visitor-friendly in times where we have really restricted budgets. As folks know, parks are not one of our mandated services. So it's really important that we have the community support, and thank you for rallying that. If you happen to have a save the date graphic for Go Green for Parks, I will start circulating that so folks can get it on their calendar. Thank you so much for everything you do.
Absolutely. Thank you, Supervisor. I'll be sure to share that.
Good. Other members of the committee? Seeing none, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ms. oh, it's not, Mrs. Nian, if you'd like to call item number 8 up, number 7, sorry.
Item 7 from the County Executive, reappointing Guy Smith to Executive Director of the Milwaukee County Parks for a 4-year term.
Welcome. If you'd like to introduce yourselves.
Good morning, Chairman Wasserman and fellow supervisors. Mary Jo Myers, Chief of Staff for the County Executive, David Crowley. On the County Executive's behalf, it is my honor to request the reappointment of Guy Smith as Director of Milwaukee County Parks Department. After ambitiously starting his career in the parks and recreational industry at the age of 12, with his own lawn and landscape business, Mr. Smith finished his degree at UW-Madison in 2003. After a brief stint in working in Tennessee, Guy began his career in Milwaukee County as Trails Coordinator in July of 2004, working his way up the ladder to become the Director of Milwaukee County Parks in May of 2018. Over the 22 years, Director Smith has led numerous projects and initiatives for both the Parks Department and across departments. He has also served on multiple boards and commissions, including but not limited to Milwaukee Parks Foundation, ex officio member of the Board of Directors, We Care crew member, Milwaukee County Strategic Planning Team, focusing on racial equity, Wisconsin Park and Recreation Association, Parks Section Executive Board, Milwaukee County City Works Steering Committee, Milwaukee County Diversity Committee member, Milwaukee County Employee Engagement Steering Committee, and many more, which can be found in your informational packet. He has also received many awards over the years, including recently in 2025, King Advisory Incorporated Legacy Community Access Community Award. In 2024, the Kiwanis Milwaukee Award, Keep Greater Milwaukee Beautiful Star Award recipient in 2017, MATC Lamp of Knowledge Award in 2011, and also in 2011, Public Policy Forum Award for Individual Excellence Leader of the Future Award, just to name a few. Director Smith has lived and worked in Milwaukee County for 22 years. While his roles have changed over the years, his commitment and dedication to building strong relationships have stayed at his core. His enthusiasm for parks has been unwavering. For the past 8 years, Director Guy Smith has become one of the longest and certainly most loved Parks Director of Milwaukee County. When I had the opportunity to be his peer, when I was in a leadership coaching course with Mr. Smith, when I was the DHHS director, he's heard this story before. I always said to him how envious I was that he was the parks director. Now, don't get me wrong, I loved being the DHHS director, but I constantly got to see him on TV tapping beer kegs, opening up beer gardens, celebrating new golf courses, while I, on the other hand, often had to, let me say, there were many, many things, and be Department of mandated services, and knowing that there were many tragedies along the way, it was hard for me not to be envious of Director Smith. However, what I have learned over the last 5.5 years as my role of Chief of Staff, that Director Smith is now viewed by his peers as a trusted leader whose honesty, integrity, and commitment to Milwaukee knows no bounds. He is continuously dealing with competing priorities and continuously having to stakeholders who may want to change the vision and mission of Milwaukee County or have their eyes set on different priorities. However, Mr. Smith has remained unwavering to his commitment. While managing with limited resources, he has led the Parks Department through a pandemic, historical storms, and recent flooding. Despite those obstacles, though, through Director Smith's leadership, Milwaukee County has managed to maintain a vibrant and thriving park system. Director Smith's commitment to remaining a steward of precious green Smith while green space while continuing to work through challenges and competing resources is why I'm here to request.
Definitely ready to be back. I mean, I didn't go anywhere.
Director Smith's commitment to remaining as steward of precious green space while continuing to work through challenges and competing resources is why I'm here to request this body's continued support in reappointing Director Smith to another 4 years in this position. And with that, I will turn it over to Director Guy Smith to say a few words.
The floor is yours.
Thank you, Chief of Staff Mary Jo, and Chairman, Supervisors. I just want to thank you for this opportunity. It's been great for 22 years being part of Milwaukee County Parks, being part of this community. Being director for the last 8, I've learned a lot. And honestly, there's not a day that I don't learn something new. So my commitment remains to work with you, to work with the county exec, to work with our partners and our stakeholders to make our parks the best that they can be. As Chief of Staff Myers said, we do have a lot of challenges, and I know you're well aware of those. But that's why we have great partners like the Milwaukee Parks Foundation, Friends Groups, grants, and we're just looking to be innovative and try to find ways to continue to thrive. So I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Members of the committee, I see Supervisor Martinez has his hand up first. The floor is yours. Supervisor Taylor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to confirm Director Guy Smith's appointment.
All right. So motion for confirmation of the appointment. Other members of the committee, Supervisor Taylor.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, Chief of Staff Myers, if you want to be on TV doing beer garden openings and keg tappings and golf course stuff, just run for county board when you're no longer in that position, because I happen to be on TV all the time doing those events with Director.
I have seen you.
The Director Smith. So, I'm going to vote for you, Guy. I think you've done an amazing job. I remember when you were interim and someone else was appointed for that position. I voted no. Didn't make the former county executive very happy, but it's turned out to be the correct decision because you've been the right person for this job since you were interim director, and I'm glad to be able to support you for another 4 years.
Thank you.
Supervisor O'Connor.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I'm eager to confirm this appointment as well. I really enjoyed reading through your resume, as I had sort of shared before the meeting, because you've had to go really deep on a lot of different subject matters, from golf course turf management certifications to prescribed burns. So parks really encompasses such a wide range of things. I appreciate how responsive you always are. I get a lot of concerns about trail safety and crossings, and I always appreciate being referred to the person who's really close to those projects and helping me respond to constituents in a timely manner. So thank you for what you are doing.
Thank you. Other committee members? Other questions? I think at this time, Ms. Nguyen, if you'd like to call the roll.
On the motion by Supervisor Martinez that item number 7 be recommended for confirmation, Supervisor O'Connor?
Aye.
Taylor?
Aye.
Cogs Jones?
Yeah.
Martinez?
Aye.
Ekblad?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman?
Aye.
6 ayes, 0 noes, the motion prevails.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And we can move on to our next item, item number 8.
Item 8, a resolution by Chairwoman Nicholson Bovell declaring June 6, 2026, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Community Center Day in Milwaukee County in recognition of its 50th anniversary.
Thank you very much, Ms. Nguyen. We are very fortunate to have our chairwoman herself joining us virtually, and the floor is yours. I do not think she needs an introduction, so welcome.
Hi, hello, happy, beautiful, warm, and Sunday, Tuesday morning, everyone. I'll introduce myself anyway. I am Chairwoman Marcelia Nicholson Bovell. Thank you so much, Parks Chair Wasserman and members of the committee for this opportunity to present today. I am proud to present this resolution in collaboration with the King Center, declaring June 6, 2026 as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Community Center Day in Milwaukee County in recognition of the center's 50th anniversary. For 5 decades, the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Community Center has served as far more than just a building or recreational facility. It has been a gathering place, a safe space, a resource hub, and a cornerstone of community for generations for Milwaukee residents. Since its opening in 1976, if you can believe it, the center has honored Dr. King's legacy not only in name, but through action. It creates opportunities for youth, it supports families, it hosts cultural celebrations, and brings neighbors together. Our favorite, and I can say this proudly as a Milwaukee County Board, it's our favorite Martin Luther King celebration on Dr. King Day. We're always there in attendance. From summer programs and recreational opportunities to community events and food drives that have helped save thousands of families, the center has remained deeply rooted in service. This recognition also recognizes the history behind the center. Following the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in 1968, Milwaukee County leaders acted to ensure his legacy will live on locally through our park systems and community institutions. And 50 years later, that vision continues to impact lives across Milwaukee County. I want to acknowledge the Milwaukee County Parks Department, our Milwaukee County Parks Foundation. I saw Rebecca Stoner is there today. Absolutely, most importantly, Dee McCullum, director of the center, their staff, the volunteers, all the community partners, and the residents who have helped sustain and grow this institution over the years. Their commitment has allowed the center to evolve while continuing to serve the community with compassion, dignity, and purpose. I also want to take a moment and invite the public to join in celebration. This incredible 50-year milestone on June 6th, 2026 from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. will take place at the King Center, located at the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Community Center on Valip. The celebration will include youth activities, food trucks, live music, tours, and highlights the center's history. And then it will also unveil the new outdoor murals honoring the legacy and future of this important community space. So at a time when more important than ever, the King Center remains a powerful example of what public investment, neighborhood partnerships, and collective care can look like. So I respectfully ask for the committee's support in recognizing this important milestone. Please, I invite you to co-sponsor. I did not get a chance to circulate just because of the timing with the holiday and wanting to get it to committee in time. But again, I want us to all together honor the lasting legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Community Center. And again, thank you for this opportunity to present.
Thank you very much, Chair Nicholson Bovell. I have a request from my Vice Chair, Supervisor O'Connor.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Chairwoman, for bringing this forward. It's a really important occasion to honor and a really special place in our community. I would like to request to be added as a co-sponsor. Thank you for the invitation.
That request is granted. Supervisor Martinez.
Chairman Wasserman, I do want to be requesting unanimous consent to be added as co-sponsor, and I'd like to make the motion to adopt.
All right. There's been a motion to adopt. Supervisor Martinez is asked to also be asked. I'm going to do our co-sponsorship all together, one motion to approve that. Supervisor Ekblad?
Same, please. Unanimous consent to be added as a co-sponsor.
Sure. Supervisor Cogs-Jones?
Same, Mr. Chair.
Sure. Supervisor Sky Capriola, I see your hand popping up. You're not a member of the committee, but you're always welcome. Would you like to make a co-sponsorship motion too? Join that?
You got it. Thank you so much.
All right. All right. Supervisor Taylor.
So now the chairwoman needs to ask the chairman for these individual colleagues to be added.
That is correct,
yes.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Supervisor, and if you could add me also on this thing too.
Okay. Thank you so much. Supervisor Taylor, was that you adding yourself as a co-sponsor
You,
as well?
you can add me, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much. All right, so Mr. Chair, Madam Coordinator, if I could please ask unanimous consent to add Supervisors O'Connor, Martinez, Ekblad, Cox Jones, Capriolo, Taylor, and Wasserman as co-sponsors, please.
Granted, no objections on that, so thank you. Yeah, I think everyone's hands, some people's hands are still up. Okay, we took care of that. All right, so we are now up for the motion for final approval. Ms. Nean, or Supervisor Ekblad, would you like to say anything else on this, or just do your hand still up? Or Supervisor Capriello, do you have anything else to say?
And lowered.
Nope, it just didn't come down. Sorry.
All right, sounds good. Just want to make sure everyone has their voice heard. At this time, since there's no further discussion, Ms. Nean, if you could call for the roll on item number 8.
On the motion by Supervisor Martinez that item number 8 be recommended for adoption, Supervisor O'Connor?
Aye.
Taylor?
Aye.
Cogs Jones?
Aye.
Martinez?
Aye.
Ekblad?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman?
Aye.
6 ayes, 0 noes, the motion prevails.
Congratulations, Chair
Thank
Nicholson.
you. Thank you all so much. I hope to see you there on June 6th.
Sounds good. All right, next, if you'd like to read e-comments, Ms.
Item 9, e-comments submitted to the Committee on Parks and Culture via the County Legislative Information Center CLIC.
Supervisor O'Connor is our vice chair, and this is a special duty of the vice chair.
Thank you, Chair. I've got Granicus I Legislate open. I don't see any comments at this time.
Thank you very much. All right, seeing none, we are finishing our business. We're going to be asking for adjournment, and we will be circulating a request for our bakery. Who's up next from my Ellie in the back of the room, Jenny. So be prepared for signing up on our calendar. And with that, our next meeting will be taking place on Tuesday, June 23rd at 9 a.m.
Can I bring the next one because I may be virtual in July?
Deal. Supervisor Taylor is up for the June date. And we'll go from there. So any further business? All in favor of adjournment, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are officially adjourned.